For those new to programming, I suggest that you start at the beginning of the series. The playlist will be linked in the description of the video and also in the YouTube cards in the top right corner. Well, with that out of the way, let's get started with today's topic, which is switch statement. Switch statement, just like the if statement, is used to write a conditional that will result into different outputs based on the match expression or variable that is being switched. As you can see, the syntax of the switch statement goes like this. First, just like the if statement, we have switch and the two parentheses that will tell the compiler that you are writing a switch statement. Next, inside the curly braces, we have the case and the constant value. You can consider the constant value as what you are trying to match with the output of the match expression or the data stored inside the variable that you are trying to switch. Adding the colon after the constant value is mandatory, and after that, you can add the code block to be executed if and when this case was met. The case will be executed if a constant value and the value of the match expression or a variable are equal. When we are writing an if statement, we use else if blocks to stack more conditions to be tested, and else block to write the default statement. While when you are using switch statement, you keep on adding more cases and use the default label to write the default statement. Just like the else block, the default label will only be executed if none of the cases above it were executed. As some of you might have noticed, we need to use break semicolon after each case to tell the compiler that this is the end of the case. You can also use return and go to keywords instead of the break keyword, but I'm not going to go into detail about that right now, as I'm going to make a whole video regarding important keywords in C#. Now, let's go back to the RPG analogy and talk about how you might find switch statements helpful. Think about a bar or a cafe in your game, and you having different breakfast menus every single day. So let's declare a string named _day and then set Monday as its value. And then in the start method, let's start writing the switch statement by typing switch opening bracket _day closing bracket. And then inside the curly braces, let's write all the cases, namely all the days of the week, by typing case Monday colon case Tuesday colon case Wednesday colon case Thursday colon case Friday colon case Saturday colon case Sunday colon default colon break. And then let's debug.log the different breakfast items for each day. Debug.log omelette, debug.log hot dog, debug.log toast, debug.log hot coffee, debug.log latte, debug.log store is closed, debug.log pizza slice. And then for the default label, debug.log something went wrong. Now let's break down this piece of code to make sure that everyone understands how to write a switch statement. First of all, we declared the variable to be switched, that is _day, and set it to Monday. Next, we told the compiler that we are writing a switch statement and that _day is the variable that we want to switch. After that, we wrote the various cases corresponding to the variable being switched. In our case, the variable is _day, so the cases are all the days in the week. And of course, we also wrote the default case, which is like a safety net. Next, we wrote what to do when a certain case is met and debug.log the breakfast item. That's it. Now let's go to Unity and check the logs. As you can see, it says omelette, which is the expected output. Back to the code. Now, just like nested if statements, you can also create nested switch statements. So let's see how that works. Going back to the RPG analogy, let's say that the bar or the cafe has different items on the menu based on the time of day. So let's declare another variable named underscore time of day and set it to noon. And then modify one of the cases where instead of directly logging the breakfast item, we'll switch underscore time of day like this. Case Monday, switch, opening bracket, time of day, closing bracket, and then inside the curly braces, case morning. Debug.log, omelette, break, case noon, debug.log, chips and dip, break, case evening, debug.log, beer, break, case default, debug.log, something went wrong, break, and then after the closing curly braces of the switch statement, don't forget the break for the case Monday. That's it. Now we have a nested switch statement. Let's go back to Unity and check the logs. As you can see, it says chips and dip, which is the expected output. Back to the code. Now you can also combine cases so that the same block of code will be executed if the condition for the case is met. Going back to the RPG analogy, let's say that instead of having only one item available at a time of day, you want to instead have all the items available throughout the day. Although this will make the second switch statement pointless, but just to show how combined cases work, let's move forth. To do so, instead of writing the code block and break after every case label, what you can do instead is type it like this: case morning, colon, case noon, colon, case evening, colon, and then write debug.log, omelette, comma, chips and dip, comma, beer. And that's it. Now, whatever the time of day it is, it will print the same log. Just to make sure that you understand, you can choose to only join two of the cases if you want, and have a completely different block of code to be executed for the third case. But it would take more time to explain the scenario and make it more complex, so to maintain the simplicity, I just went with joining all the three cases here instead. There is one last thing that I can cover, which is the return keyword. It is important to know how and when you will use it, but I'm not going to cover it in this video, because first, I have not made a video about methods yet, and second, I'm going to make a video and cover all the important keywords and explain them all in one go. Well, that does it for today's video. If you like the content, I hope that you will subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments, do post them in the comment section. And again, if you see someone struggling down in the comment section, do try and help them. Goodbye for now. This is your host VP signing off.